Pearl Standard theory posits that discussions of any professional issue, if confined solely within the professional domain without ascending to the philosophical level of dialectical thinking, will inevitably lead to extremism, and extremism inevitably triggers entropy increase. This is because extremism is a state where balance is destroyed, and the inevitable result is disorder, chaos, and the accumulation of ineffective energy. The issue of currency is no exception. Therefore, the Pearl Standard theory of monetary reversion is first and foremost a philosophical reflection on finance based on dialectical dualism. In dialectical philosophy, things can always be divided into two. However, there is a significant difference in the dualism between Eastern and Western cultures, which determines that the evolution paths of social basic values and economic systems, including currency systems, are completely different between the two. In Eastern culture, dialectics is often seen as a harmonious mode of thinking. The dialectical dualism in Eastern philosophy is mainly influenced by Chinese Confucianism and Taoism. In Confucianism, dialectical dualism is mainly reflected in the thought of Confucius and his followers, emphasizing harmony and balance between individuals and pursuing the non-extreme doctrine of the mean. The dialectical dualism in Taoism, represented by Laozi and Zhuangzi, advocates the non-confrontational pursuit of the Tao and a balanced state. In summary, Eastern culture's dualism emphasizes unity and complementarity. Concepts like yin and yang and five elements in Chinese philosophy view the world as dynamic, interdependent, and interactive. The separation in the yin-yang symbol is clear yet inclusive, rather than a stark division. In contrast, the dualism in Western culture emphasizes opposition and contradiction. The dialectics in Western philosophy originated from the thoughts and debates of ancient Greek philosophers. Plato, the philosopher from ancient Greece, believed that the world of ideas and the perceptible world are always separated. He considered the phenomenal world imperfect and finite, while the world of ideas was perfect and infinite, and the two were irreconcilable. This dualistic binary thinking embodies the core idea of dialectical dualism in Western philosophy. In the 19th century, German philosopher Hegel further interpreted the Western dialectical dualism. He believed that the real world is a process full of contradictory conflicts and irreconcilable conflicts, and through the contradiction and resolution of contradictions, things can develop and evolve continuously. It is evident that in Western culture, dialectical dualism emphasizes the confrontation and conflict of contradictions and sees them as the driving forces of change and progress. Dialectical dualism is an important philosophical foundation for understanding monetary systems and designing currencies. Due to significant differences in dualistic thinking between Eastern and Western cultures, different philosophical perspectives on dualism will lead to completely different cognitive angles on currency and paths for currency design. The Pearl Standard theory believes that Eastern philosophical thinking's dualism emphasizes inclusiveness and balance. Therefore, the currency design philosophy of the Pearl Standard theory chooses a reversion path based on the dualism of Eastern philosophy. Firstly, the Pearl Standard theory believes that the global monetary system should be a contradictory unity of diverse balances. Different regions, cultures, technologies, and anchors inevitably produce different currencies. These currencies are usually in contradictory opposition, such as competition for settlement status and conflicts in exchange rates. However, it is precisely these contradictions that achieve balance in opposition, forming a dynamically balanced global monetary system. The Pearl Standard, as a reversion currency based on an absolute standard, not only does not exclude other currencies but merely regards itself as a part of the contradictory unity of the world currency. It is even a small part, only in theory and especially in practice, exploring more currency design ideas to enter the contradictory unity of the world currency system, so that there are more factors promoting evolution in the contradictory unity, eventually emerging truly good currencies. At the same time, the Pearl Standard follows the compatibility doctrine of Eastern philosophy's dualism, insisting on the absolute standard and the original intention of reversion, but not overly relying on the extreme scarcity of anchors. Instead, It highly values the friendly relationship between currency and the environment, the wealth increment of human society, the stability of the currency value scale, and the reasonable balance among these three parameters. Throughout human financial history, currencies have always been controlled by interest groups, and there has never been a good grasp of the relationship among these three factors. When metals serve as stable coins, they pursue the extreme scarcity of metals. Ultimately, although gold and silver emerge as stable coins, they cannot support the required quantity for market circulation due to scarcity or private hoarding by owners. Or they do not match the increment of social wealth, mainly because they cannot satisfy the currency ruler's arbitrary construction of hegemonic debt systems and are eventually abolished. The Pearl Standard believes that the choice of collecting grade seawater pearls as anchors precisely considers the human consensus on the value of anchors, has a certain scarcity, and can form production and value increments friendly to the Earth's environment, ensuring an orderly increment of the corresponding currency supply.